Okay, this is Tony Grant from Crucial Views, and I'm here today with another thought for the day. And this time I'm talking with Sue Berry from RightProduct.com. Hi, Sue.
Hi Tony, nice to be here.
Yeah, and today we was actually both. The reason I'm speaking with you today is, of course, we was both at a conference back in November, and this for me was very much one of my formative moments, I would say, because
Mm.
the guy, as you recall, he was talking about so many things, and there was so much information, so much just amazing content coming out from this guy's speech. But the one thing for me that I took out from it was the word clarity, of course, and on
Yeah.
the posts and stuff when I've talked about it, I'm always hammering on about this clarity, and I want to come back to you in a moment just to sort of see what you took away from that event. But I just want to quickly give a brief overview of what the clarity meant to me. And basically, I better give the guy credit, Nigel Botterill, of course, from the Entrepreneur Circle, and he was saying that the best way to move forward is to have absolute clarity and stop multitasking, stop jumping about all over the place, but actually define where you need to be in a year's time from now, as in how much money you need your business to pay into your bank account, then work out how much the business must earn in that year to pay you that money, and then backtrack to now and then start working out step by step what you've actually got to do to get to that end objective. And for me, that really helped me to define everything that I've been doing over these last couple of months. But of course, when I was thinking about it, I'm harping on about clarity, but of course, I guess that lots of other people, everybody in that room was taking away a different point, and of course, you was one of those people in that room. So,
Yeah.
what did
Yeah.
that conference deliver for you?
Well, for a start, it's there was a great buzz in the room, and it was lovely to feel part of something a lot bigger, and also to know that you're not on your own, because often working on your own is quite lonely. But as I think as I sat there, I was jotting down absolutely everything that was being given, being told to us, and I was planning. My mind was racing ahead. What can I do with this? What can I do with that? Yes, I've got to implement certain things, and so I was getting very, very excited. And as I walked out of the door, I'd got this huge amount of focus and determination that I was going to do well.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's definitely one of the things about going to one of these events, isn't it? Is the fact that
mm,
you come away so motivated, absolutely walking on air, and you're going to go home or go back to the office, whichever, and change the world. But then,
yeah,
sort of what happens? Life kicks in, doesn't it? And
it does, but I am teaching myself to actually implement things, because as I'm sat listening to people talking and saying how they do certain things, then I'm jotting it down and making sure that when I get back home, I turn those things that they've said, those tasks that they do, I make sure I've got them and turn them into goals with set time scales and time frames. And I'm actually finding I'm getting the work done now. So
yeah, and
yeah,
that's good. And the other thing is to also acknowledge your own achievements, isn't it? Because as you're moving towards these goals, when I sort of said life happens, and of course it does, and things go wrong, as they do pretty much every day in business, there's always some challenges, which is part of being an entrepreneur, I suppose, is facing those challenges and overcoming them. But I think what we have a tendency to do is focus in on the elements that are going wrong more so than those that are going right. So
yeah,
uh, I know that's definitely one of my sort of things that I really have to battle with, is keeping the motivation there, and not keeping the motivation there, keeping spirits high, I would say. But
yeah,
one
yeah,
of the tricks that
definitely.
I'd learned was when you've got your to-do list. I mean, I must admit my list tends to be in my mind, but that's because of practical reasons.
Yeah,
Um, one of the things I've learned is that rather than just ticking things off when you've done them, some people are saying isn't it a good idea to actually make another list of the things that you have succeeded at, so that at the end of the day you haven't just got you're not just left with a list of things that you've still got to do tomorrow, because that list will carry on growing, won't it? Whatever, there'll always be things to do tomorrow.
Oh, there's always things, yeah.
Yeah, but rather by looking down the list and sort of saying, well, hang on a minute, this is what I've achieved, you're actually sort of giving yourself some reward or some acknowledgement for what you're doing, and you can actually see then that you're moving forward in a positive way. But
Yeah, I do think that's a good idea. It's not something I've done, but I might even try that. Yeah.
well, I know you're a big list person, you say. So
Yeah, huge list. I absolutely love having a book of all my tasks, and they've all got to be neatly written with a line underneath each one, and I cross them off as I've gone along. Yeah, I try to do things on the computer, but it doesn't work. I have to have it paper and pen, or a nice book and pen actually.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
see, here we go. There's two of us talking about a topic, and both of us have got totally different perspectives about it.
Yeah.
Well, we're both aiming towards the same sort of goals, really. The focus, the motivation, the enthusiasm, commitment, all those big words, all those big words that move us towards where we want to be going. But the actual way that everybody gets there is clearly different, and I suppose this is why, you need to maybe listening to these little short videos every now and again just to see what people are talking about. I'm not saying that what I say is right. I'm not saying what Sue says is right, or anybody else necessarily, and equally it's not wrong. What it is hopefully along the way you're going to find little snippets of information you can say, yeah, that makes sense, and even just listening in and hearing how other people cope with issues or move their life forward. Any sort of motivation I find is a good thing, because don't you find, Sue, that after, let's say after we left that conference 3 days ago, not 3 days ago, it was back in November, but I mean, 3 or 4 days is what I meant to say, 3 or 4 days, and your sort of motivation starts to dwindle a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You need a boost.
Well, the way I make the boost is the way I keep that momentum and get a boost as well is that I try and speak to somebody that's at the event on the day, and somebody new, and then I contact them as soon as I've got home, and I know that I've told them things when I'm on a high that I'm going to be doing, not bragging particularly, but questions. I'm saying, well, I'll be doing this and I'll be doing that. I then contact them a few days later, and it somehow motivates me to carry on doing what I've said I'll do.
Yeah.
Because it's another way, and there's lots of different ways to keep that motivation going.
There's a couple of good things there as well, is because not only is it keeping your motivation going, you're actually also making yourself accountable, aren't you? Because you're saying to somebody else, I will do this, I will achieve this, and of course if you don't, then you've got to face them and look up to your peers, as it were. So that's another good little tip there, good strategy. So anyway, look, I think we've talked for 5 minutes, and so I think we'll close down for today, and hopefully be back in a couple of days' time with another little snippet.
Okay then. Well, keep motivated.
Yeah, and you. Thanks very much, Sue. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.